Yo, what's up everybody, Durag back with another video. Thanks for coming back to the channel. This one is all about the numbers, baby. So make sure to like, subscribe, stay till the end for the comment section, and let's just jump right in. The Suns are currently the 3rd overall team in the NBA behind the Utah Jazz and the Philadelphia 76ers. The only Suns player in the top 5 of any non-advanced stat is Chris Paul, and he's currently 5th in the NBA in assists per game at 8.7. To me, this says this team is very balanced. We're not living and dying by a single statistical marker. Is this a good thing or a bad thing for a team to be a jack of all trades but master of none? Just off the eye test. I'm not sure yet, so let's dive a little bit deeper into the numbers and see what we can learn. First off, is there a better mid-range duo than the Phoenix Suns? Shout out to Dom and Sam for blessing my TL with this graphic. But based on the size of their balls, the size of their graphics, and a little help from NBA.com, we know that Devin Booker is unassisted on roughly 60% of his overall 2-point field goals. Chris Paul, on the other hand, is at a mind-numbing 91% unassisted on his 2-point shots. And from 15 to 19 feet, that number just increases to 97%. Booker from this same range tops out at 70% unassisted. And this is proven by the eye test. Chris Paul is ultra ball dominant, and he has little help when he's inside the arc. But so is Devin Booker, and he doesn't need much help either. So when the defense tightens up in the playoffs, having 2 dynamic shot makers from this area could prove to be a nightmare for defensive schemes and a great bailout option for our team. So here's a question for the audience. Who's the best 3-point shooter above the break on the Phoenix Suns, minimum 100 attempts? Did you say Devin Booker, Chris Paul, or Cam Johnson? Well, it's actually Jay Crowder, and then Chris Paul, and they top out at numbers 31 and 32 respectively out of 125 eligible players. And what I found hilarious is that 100 attempts is just a casual number that I threw out there, and already 125 players have taken 100 threes on the season. But the bottom of this list is hilariously littered with players the Suns have been linked to in the past. We have guys like Kelly Oubre, Josh Jackson, Dylan Brooks, our own Cam Johnson, Eric Gordon, Goran Dragic, and our own Devin Booker. And this might be insane to say, but our former 3-point champion, he's just not yet an elite 3-level scorer. Book is elite from below the break, but right now he's shooting a measly 33% from above the break and the most impactful part of 3-point range. He's still got an entirely different level he can reach if his 3-point shot ever comes along like we hope. Some notable names on this list as well are Alec Burks and Reggie Bullock. They're both on the New York Knicks, and they both could be had using Javon Carter's contract. Burks is at 38% and probably the better player overall, but he's on a slightly worse contract, whereas Reggie Bullock is the slightly better shooter on a more manageable contract. Dario Saric right now is our stretch 5 off the bench, but he's only shooting 28% from above the break. So a guy like Mike Muscala from Oklahoma City, who is shooting 36% from 3 on over 134 attempts above the break, is an interesting option to me, where we could loosen the protections on our Oklahoma City pick, get Mike Muscala for basically nothing. It's just an intriguing bench piece. Overall, the Suns are the 2nd best shooting team from the corner, just behind the Clippers. And we're top 10 above the break. So you can thank the likes of Cam Payne, who's shooting 49%, Langston Galloway, who's shooting 44%, and Frank Kaminsky, who's shooting 39%. They've hit a combined 60 out of 125 of their above the break threes. That evens out to 48% from that range. This can't be the team's biggest weakness, but certainly it's something that they could look to improve even further, as they're only top 10. The Suns are also top 5 in field goal percentage, finishing at the rim, and in the paint away from the rim. So what areas does this team not excel in? Well, currently we're a bottom 7 team in box outs, a bottom 5 team in steals and blocks, and a bottom 2 team in deflections. Yet, the Suns are contesting the 9th most shots. They're allowing the 11th fewest shots at the rim, and teams are only shooting 33.7% from above the break against us. We also force teams to shoot in the final 4 seconds of the shot clock at the 4th highest rate in the league. This team is good on the less glamorous end of the floor, even if we're not getting a lot of highlight-worthy plays like deflections, steals, or blocks. But the one weakness I can point to is that the Suns are not the greatest rebounding team. Somebody who could address this rebounding issue in spot minutes would be great in my opinion. So a guy like Mike Muscala again touches both the rebounding issue without sacrificing spacing, but if you're interested in names who would address that issue, we have guys like Hassan Whiteside for cheap, Kem Birch, Taj Gibson, Bismack Biyombo. All of these guys could be had for Javon Carter's contract. There are options to improve this team, even if just on the margins. And while none of those names are home runs, I do think that they would tangibly make us better without sacrificing too much of what we already have. The final kryptonite that I do have for this team begins and ends with our star player. Devin Booker has become somewhat infamous for his turnovers and how they damage the team in key situations. So Devin Booker sits 8th in the NBA in turnovers per game. You have to go to Joel Embiid, who is 15th, and then Jaylen Brown, who is 24th in turnovers per game, to find players with assists per game as low as Booker's. He's just having a little bit too much turnovers. They're very damaging, especially when they're in the 4th quarter. In both Minnesota games, Devin Booker had 10 turnovers combined, and that's just not really acceptable, especially against a team as bad as the Timberwolves. He's got to be better, and we expect him to be better, and he will continue to get better. So it is something that I'm going to keep on my watch list, but it is not something right now that I am ultra concerned with. I hate to end on a note like this, so if you've made it this far in the video, make sure to comment down below on what topic you think is more important to address at the trade deadline. The above the break shooting that would push us into top 5 category, or the rebounding that we have been complaining about for months now. If you have a preferred target as well, other than the guys that I listed, make sure to let me know, and let me know if you agree with some of my guys. So till next time everyone, do rag out.